Chosen Philly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we got to talk about Lincoln Riley and Kliff Kingsbury experiment. Is it time for it to be to come to a conclusion? Listen, I went back and looked at the stats from this year and last year, and you can see where Caleb numbers are down compared to last year. Of course, he's still having a phenomenal year, throwing over 3,500 yards. I mean, Caleb is right up there with some of the best right now in the country. But when I went back and I looked at these numbers, but then I also just kind of reflect back on some of the games, especially, of course, the Notre Dame game, the Arizona game, several games this year, even on early on in Arizona State game. If you want to go back to all these games, Colorado, we had it going. Went out, jumped out front early, nice explosion. But then, of course, the Utah game, it just seems the play calling was totally different. And as the season's essentially now over, I really had an opportunity to kind of reflect back. And really, when you look at this thing from a whole, and you think about all the pieces that Caleb Williams had around him, think about this. You had a guy like Dorian Singer who came over from Arizona. I believe he had 1,100 yards last year, one of the leading receivers in the country. And we got so many weapons. There's a couple of things that come to my mind. Either the Kliff Kingsbury, and this is no disrespect if he happens to watch this, no disrespect to him, but our offense last year was a lot more explosive. We had no issues with moving the ball. The creativity, it seemed to be a lot more explosive last year opposed to this year. And it's very evident. And you got all these weapons around. And, what really disturbs me about this season is the fact that we bring so much talent over from the portal. We did it the year before. And we got guys, think about this. We got guys like a Gary Bryant Jr., who was on our roster last year, transferred out. And I just seen him over the weekend play Oregon, playing against Arizona State. He had a 75-yard bomb. USC has always had the talent. And so, we stockpiling talent and we got talent on the sideline. But the question is, why haven't we been able to utilize that talent this year? I mean, that is beyond a mystery to me at this point. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm wondering if the Kliff Kingsbury, the simplified, I'm not even going to say simplified. It's just not as creative as Lincoln Riley had last year. And even with his Oklahoma offense, when he was at Oklahoma, I alluded to this plenty of times. Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon, those guys were absolutely running the ball like crazy. But then the passing game, I mean, of course, you had the Baker Mayfields, you had the Kyler Murray, you had the Jalen Hurts. Their offense was so explosive. It seems like, I don't know, man, when I'm looking at the press conference, it almost seems like to a point where you hear Lincoln Riley, he's answering these questions, but it almost seems like, I don't know if it's confusion. I don't know if it's like the state of denial. I'm not sure what it is, how to categorize it. But all I know is it just seems like he's not himself. That's the only way I can put it. That's the only way I can describe it. And that leads me to the point where, and we're going to take a look at these numbers. That leads me to the point where I'm wondering, and I'm actually asking now, is the Kliff Kingsbury experiment over? Because you see, he's on the sideline during the game. I'm not sure how much of an influence this actually has on the play calling, with Lincoln Riley, because it's absolutely all year long. It's been a mystery. It's been different. And nothing about it makes any sense. Of course, you got to put the Lincoln Riley factor in there. I mean, some of the calls going for it on fourth down, beginning of the game, putting your defense in a bad spot. Everything this year has been an absolute mystery. I think right now the USC fan base is really trying to figure out what happened. I mean, it happened right in front of us. None of us know or really understand like what exactly took place to have an offense this explosive. We already knew the defense From a schematic standpoint, we already know that was lost in the sauce. That's been taken care of. But now we really got to address the issue. Because we understand that now a new coordinator is coming, and from what I understand, a pretty good one is coming. But now we got to address the issue of the offense. I mean, possibly no Caleb, and we can't go in with that same play call and going to the Big Ten. But let's take a look real quick at some of Caleb's numbers real quick. All right, so this is Caleb from this year. You see him here, 3,633 yards, 30 TDs, 5 INTs, and 82.4, which ranks 10th for his QBR. Those are phenomenal numbers. I mean, those are great numbers. If you look at anybody within the top 10, Caleb is still within that. I believe even if within the top 5, Caleb's numbers are still outstanding numbers. But then what really disturbed me and what was really a mystery to me is when you go down to 2022, and you see he had a substantial amount of, a lot more throws, 333 throws for 500 attempts. But you see it here. Look at the numbers, though. The numbers, almost 1,000, not quite, but almost 1,000 yards more in passing, 4,537. 42 TDs. I mean, Caleb went absolutely insane for his Heisman Trophy campaign. So, only thing I can wonder is, does USC need to part ways from Kliff Kingsbury? Because at this point, when we look at this, USC is absolutely, the offense just seems to be stagnated. It's like we don't know when to run. We ran Travis Dye. If you guys remember, we ran a few screen plays. We ran some draw plays. It seemed like we ran a lot more opposed to this year, for what I can remember. You guys can hit me in the comments. You guys can tell me what you think. Austin Jones and Travis Dye, those two guys were a 1-2 punch. All across the board, when you think about it, it was so much just inconsistency. Sometimes we'll try to run it, then sometimes we won't. It's just like you don't know what you're going to get. Each week, it's just like a different thing. Last year, we knew that this offense was coming out explosive. We knew that this offense was just, it didn't matter what game it was. They were going, and we still put up a lot of points, but it just seemed like we had to fight for them, and it's like fighting tooth and nail, just trying to get these and trying to attack it. And it just did not seem like, even with the offensive line, everything just seemed to be out of sync. And I'm wondering, because you've seen periodically, the play caller would be changed. It was lost in the sauce moments to where, everybody just did not seem on the same page. As a result, seen several penalties that would take place. But you guys hit me in the comments. That's kind of my thought process just with today. What do you guys think about the Kliff Kingsbury experiment? Do you guys think it's coming to an end? Do you guys think USC should, Lincoln Riley rather, because it's ultimately it's going to be his decision. Should it be his choice? Because here's the deal with this. When you think about Kliff Kingsbury, of course they're paying analysts, but on the flip side, we can get a special teams coach. How about that? A special team coach that can really game plan, block for somebody like Zachariah Branch. I'm seeing so many lost in the sauce moments as it relates to special teams. And, to not have a coach, it's bit us in the behind a couple of times this year. And I think at some point, if we're going to pay for an analyst who can really do the job that you're doing already and know how to do it well, which you're known for, I don't see the point of continuing the relationship-wise, on the football field with USC as an analyst when you can have a special team coach that we can really utilize and really put somebody like Zach Branch talent to the forefront, man, because he has so much talent. But if you don't have nobody that knows how to block on the kick return or the punt return, it'll still be a loss in the sauce moment, man. So you guys can hit me in the comments on that. You guys tell me what you think. You guys already know where you can find me. It's going to be USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. I'm out of here, man. Until later on, everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.